Like, how did the friendship start first? Who's going to go?
Who's going to go first?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, paper, scissors, shoot.
Guys,
1,000 years later.
Okay. How we met. I wanted someone that I could talk about God, talk about career, talk about relationship, talk about everything, and then it's just a well-balanced relationship. So I prayed for that too, and then we just put in measures. We talk every day, we chat every day, we call, we check up on each other. Whatever is happening in your life, let me know. So just putting all those measures in place definitely helped us to, and again, just because we know that this is a gift from God, we also knew that if we don't play our part right, it's going to fall apart.
Yes.
Because yes, God gave you as a gift, is a gift, is a gift. But if I'm not intentional about her, she's not intentional about me, we'll not be here today. I'll go my separate way and just be like, okay, cool. But God will say, oh, but I gave you somebody, but then you did not handle it properly. Right. So we just knew that this is different. So we have to treat it differently. If there's anything that we need to talk about, we must talk about it. All those tough conversations.
Yes.
We'll sit down there. Literally, we'll sit down. When we live together, we will tell nobody will go and sleep. If there's an issue, we'll sit down on the couch until we resolve it. You will not sleep. So if you want to sleep, you will talk. If you don't talk, you will not sleep. So we were just very, very intentional. Very intentional. I think that's just the key word with us, intentionality.
Hey people, Danny here, Danny of the Gen Z Christian Pod. Welcome to another episode of the Gen Z Christian Pod. Today I'm very excited today because this episode is going to be very fun, and of course it's going to make sense. Let me just put it that way because I have some amazing people with me. I have two special people with me. I want to introduce them, but I don't want to introduce them. I call them TK and Tichi. And TK and Tichi, and throughout this episode, I'm going to be calling them TK and Tichi, so get used to it. I am Kimberly here and Chiamaka here. Two best of friends, and they want to talk about sisterhood and friendship, which is something that I feel like a lot of us as young people struggle with. I struggle with it. God, how do we make adult friendship? And TK and Tichi to me, the model of friendship so well. Like I see them and I watch them from a distance. I'm like, people do this now. So welcome to the show, TK. Welcome. Tichi.
Thank you so much, Dagny.
Thank you for coming here today.
My pleasure.
Yes, so like I said earlier, like I want both of you for my fan. I'm like, people do this now. Hey, in this generation, really, because I feel like I know that relationship is very important for we young people, for people generally, human beings. We need relationship, but I think it's just so hard to. It's easier to make friends when when you're a teenager, when you're a child. When you become an adult, how do you find someone that has shared values? Even when you find them, how do you keep them? So I know that you guys have been friends for a long time. I don't know how long, but I know that I've known that you guys have been friends since 2020. I don't know how long.
That's how long, actually.
Yes, because I see TK post there. I don't think I had teaches. But TK, oh God. So I just so before we now, yeah. So before we go into like the complication, how did you guys meet? Like, how did the friendship start first? Who's going to go?
Who's going to go first? Oh, yeah. Oh, paper, scissors, shoot.
Guys,
Paper, scissors, shoot.
God, I beg. See, your mind.
Okay. How we met? So we met in 2019, unofficially. I joined Transform Nation. I'll give you the abridged version. I joined Transform Nation. She was TK. She's still TK. And I just knew her from afar. Oh, TK, TK, TK. She seemed cool. And our first interaction was we wore the same. I wore a dress. And then we saw after church. And she was like, oh, I have this dress, but in a different color. I was like, oh, cool. We should wear it sometime together. Thinking about it, I was like, that's so weird. Because we're not even friends. We're wearing the same dress. And then something happened in church. I was going through something. And then I needed someone to talk to. And then for some weird reason, I don't know, I just felt prompted to call her. I would say it's the Holy Spirit. Yeah. I just felt prompted to call her. We spoke about that issue for, say, 10 minutes. And then for the whole hour, we were just talking. Ask me about what I genuinely can't remember. But we
Wow.
were just flowing. The conversation just kept going. And I remember on the call, I was like, oh my gosh, you're my soul sister. And okay, she would tell her own part of the story. For her, that meant something. But for me, I was just feeling the energy. I was just feeling the vibe. I was just feeling the conversation. I was like, I've not had a conversation with somebody like this that we connected so much. And I just said, oh, you're my soul sister. And that was it. And then we just started
Wow.
talking ever since then. And but then it meant something to her. So let her share one part of the story. For you, it was deeper. When I said that word, it was deeper for you.
Okay, so how we met. This is your picture of how we met. It's different. Yeah, so how did I meet?
Because she had seen me before. You had heard of me.
Did I?
Yes, sir.
I had my head.
Oh, yeah, now continue.
Alright, so how did I see her? When did I see her? She auditioned for the music team.
Okay,
right?
okay.
That was the first time I worked for Chiamaka. And then she started her own podcast. That was the first time I noticed her.
Yes.
When she started her podcast. And but then we're not, I know you, right?
Yes.
But we didn't have any relationship
Mhm.
until when we had a conversation was when she called regarding that situation.
Yeah.
And then again, yeah, we just started talking. So the situation was like, okay, this is the problem. This is how we solve it now. Move on. And then we're talking and talking. And yes, we actually connected. I mean, I've not had a conversation with anybody like that in a long time prior to then. Prior to that, I wasn't even looking for any kind of my mind was not on any kind of friendship. I'm a very relatable person. I
Yeah.
relate with everybody.
Funny.
If you're close, you're close. If you're not, you're not,
Yeah.
right? And so I didn't really think much of it. So on that conversation we had, like we talked a lot, but the day that you actually called me soul sister was not on that conversation.
Was it on the
It
call?
wasn't on that call.
I think I mentioned it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, maybe you mentioned it the first time there, but when it actually stuck was when you said it again.
Okay.
It was rehearsal, and then I just arrived for the rehearsal. When I came down from the car, then from the window, you now shouted, "Oh,
Gosh, what was I so? I was doing the most. I was doing too much.
sister." So it meant a lot to me. Why? When I was in university, I think my third year, there was this conference I went for women, and I think I was the anchor of the conference. For me, see, this thing they've been doing it to me for years. Right. I was emceeing the conference, and then we had a guest, a female. She's wife of one popular pastor like that, but I can't remember. And so she was really talking about womanhood, blah blah blah. And she now talked about sisterhood. She talked about a friend that she had, from her days when she was single, when she was going through, a lot of things in life. And she said, she talked about how being in that relationship with that person really, really helped her. And it was really good for her Christian journey. It was just an all-round,
Yes.
thing. She connected with the lady. And so I just connected to that. I think I was 17 at the time. So I just connected to that. I was like, God, I want this. So I look at how somebody is having a friendship like this where when you're talking about God, you don't sound weird.
Yeah.
And you also enjoy each other's company
Correct.
genuinely. It's not like you have to put up a certain kind of front,
Yeah.
to so that your friendship will chill. It's like if I like godly things, the secular things I like, we vibe, right?
Yeah.
But we still have the same value.
Yeah.
So nobody's stuck up.
Yeah.
I told God I wanted that, and I think that was the only thing I said. And she mentioned the word soul sister.
Yeah.
And I had never heard any other person say that thing for 2015 to 2020.
Wow.
And then I heard her calling me soul sister. That was like, oh God, nice one. Oh. 5 years later. 5 years later. And so that's what it meant for me. For me, she was an answered prayer that God brought this kind of person into my life. Now, what it was going to look like, I don't know, but I just knew that connection, that instant connection meant a lot. We talked like we've known each other since childhood.
Wow.
Do you understand?
Yeah,
It was-
conversations kept
it
flowing.
was
It was so weird.
Yeah, that's how we met.
Yeah.
How I'm
Oh,
saying.
so after having the conversation, and then remember that I had prayed the same prayer as well. Because I had friends, but then, like she said, there was just something lacking. It's either we'll talk about life in general, talk about relationship, but when it comes to the God thing, it's like I was the one doing the most, and I didn't want to feel like that. So I wanted someone that I could talk about God, talk about career, talk about relationship, talk about everything, and then it's just a well-balanced relationship. So I prayed for that too, and then yeah.
I think what I can see from here is bad. That's what I said, that whoever wants a friend should be friendly. Yes. So I think from both sides, at the point that you guys met, you guys were like open to friendship and that connection. That for you to have even prayed about it. But yeah, it's one thing for you to be open and want it and maybe see someone, but it's another thing for you to not keep. So I think maybe from what you just said now, maybe I think that first call that you had probably just reinforce the shared values that you had. Yes, even though you were in the same church, but that call maybe reinforced like, okay, yes, we at least we are in alignment in some areas. However, after that time, because I remember that
I traveled.
Yes, traveled.
Few months later,
this Lagos to maintain friends. Wait, 2 months later.
No, a few months.
Few months later,
I think it was like 3-4 months.
we became official.
In March.
March 2020.
Yes.
We traveled
September 15th, a day after your birthday. No, sorry, I got my visa on your birthday.
Yeah, then
20 something, yeah.
21st, I think.
What's the difference?
You know, it's this is the thing. We made it a point from the get-go. We made it we're very particular about not calling each other friends. We were very particular about the sisterhood. You know, so people are always like, "Get a best friend." I'm like, if that's your interpretation,
That's okay. That's cool.
And we can't sit down and say, no, this is sisterhood. But it is sisterhood. And so it means it goes beyond the regular the regular friendship. It means that the commitment is different. It means that there's no break here. Anything that is bent, we have to straighten it. We have to fix it because the sisterhood is for life. Yeah. So I think that really us doing that in the beginning really helped to
mindset. Yes. But even with knowing that, when Chichi was out of the country, how are you able to keep the communication going? Because I mean, when she traveled, I'm sure she made some new friends. It was a new culture, new environment, new things will interest you. And then CK was in Lagos at the time, still in Lagos, and then new things were happening in your life too at the same time. So I know you guys able to now align with the newness that you guys are both facing.
To be honest, right? I mean, like, it was hard at some point, right? Hard because, of course, we had just met, and then we didn't have, it was COVID year. So we didn't have enough time to go out, hang out, all that shenanigans until I traveled. But then, traveling and then trying to maintain the relationship, like she said, it was a conscious effort. Like, just knowing that I have friends, but I have a soul sister. So there's no comparison. That's why we don't want to call best friends, because you might be close to somebody else and feel like, oh, this is my closest friend, but this is my best friend. The difference is clear. You are my friend and I have a soul sister. And even with meeting new people, it was clear from the get-go that, oh, there's one girl, her name is Kimo. She's in Lagos, Nigeria, and she's my soul sister. So don't get it twisted. Even if we're hanging out or we're gisting, I would always bring up her name in conversation so that you would know. And then we just put in measures. We talk every day, we chat every day, we call, we check up on each other. Whatever is happening in your life, let me know. So just putting all those measures in place definitely helped us to, and again, just because we know that this is a gift from God, we also knew that if we don't play our part right, it's going to fall apart. Because God gave you as a gift, is a gift. But if I'm not intentional about her, she's not intentional about me, we'll not be here today. I will go my separate way and just be like, okay, cool. But God will say, oh, but I gave you somebody, but then you did not handle it properly. Right. So we just knew that this is different. So we have to treat it differently. If there's anything that we need to talk about, we must talk about it. All those tough conversations. We'll sit down there. Literally, we'll sit down. When we live together, we will tell, nobody will go and sleep. If there's an issue, we'll sit down on the couch until we resolve it. You will not sleep. So if you want to sleep, you will talk. If you don't talk, you will not sleep. So we were just very, very intentional. Very intentional. I think that's just the key word with us, intentionality, because life has happened to us in different ways. But the core of it is that we're very intentional about each other.
I think I want to expand on that point that you said about having those tough conversations and being vulnerable. Because you mentioned like, yes, live together again. Hey, God. That's how though. It's just so beautiful to hear. So I think one thing about me is that I I used to be scared of being confrontational with people. So I don't know how to even even when I'm watching movies and there's a part that there has to be confrontation, I'll fast forward it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not bad. And I'm learning though. I'm learning to learn how to be confrontational. So how are you able to be vulnerable, have those tough conversations when there's conflict, and because I don't know. I mean, it's easier to say, but when we are in that
In the
space,
moment.
in that moment, and the emotions are swelling up, how were you guys able to now?
I think she should go first because she's great at talking. Me, I run away. Vulnerability? Nah.
So
No, not me.
Well, I think the thing with vulnerability and conversation starts with humility, right? You have to be humble enough to know that like you have to do away with your pride because you want the person in your life.
yeah.
And so if you want somebody in your life, you see every issue or challenge that you go through from that lens. Do I want this person in my life? If I want this person in my life, what is the thing that is causing us to have this rift? How do I approach this thing in the best way? Sometimes you don't even know the best way to approach it, but do you want to approach it and resolve it? Yes, you do. And so it is that humility helps you to now try to make amends or try to have conversation. Sometimes it's not even just conflict, it's for better understanding. Maybe she does something that doesn't quite sit right with me. And the natural response would be like, okay, this is what we are doing now. Okay, cool. You do you and
I do me.
good, right?
Yes.
But if I genuinely want to give the best of myself to this relationship, I have to I can't give the best of myself with things that are withholding things back. I have to try as much as possible to gain clarity and communicate that this person that you're talking to like this, I think you are doing too much. You are confusing me. Is this your new soul? Right? Or the thing that you said to me, I didn't like it. It made me feel some type of way. And we have the conversation about it. So it takes humility because nobody wants to look, like a soft. Nobody wants to look like that. No. So it's humility and also trying as much as possible to um understand that the person is not you. I remember the first time we ever had a misunderstanding. She did something I didn't like.
Are you sure it's me that did stuff? What's the
Yeah,
mistake?
she did something I didn't like it. And then my tone was not great when I was telling her. I was like, I don't understand me and I don't understand. I don't understand, blah, 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 blah. And so her response to it was she didn't accept the fault because of how I spoke. And she said, and then we talked about it later, and she said she knew she was wrong for how I spoke to her. Or something like that. So I took note of that okay, oh, this girl has strong head. If the lie you talk to her, even if this thing is black, say it white. Right? And it's the humility to just approach all those things because you want the person in your life, because you want the relationship to work. So you find a way to make it work. It doesn't mean it will be smooth all the time. Like she said, when we're living together, we made a rule. Nobody goes to bed until we resolve issues. So sometimes 3 a.m. we've not still seen each other's point of view.
Yeah, I was sitting on that couch.
Yeah, couch. So tell me your own point.
Wow.
And then I'll tell her my own point and listen. I will tell each other.
I don't understand.
Wow.
Until we get to the point
Wow.
where you have sometimes you have to talk and talk and
Yes.
talk until you're like, okay,
Okay.
let me put my head, because sometimes we're trying to be right.
Yeah.
That we knew very well that those conversations eventually to birth resolution. We're not arguing because we want to go out separate ways.
Yeah.
We are arguing or we are having conversations because we want to meet somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's not like we will agree all the time, but we want to meet somewhere. Somewhere that is good enough for us to say, okay, I get. Okay, I get. All right, can we move on? So yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I think it's so beautiful. Not that I hear this because when you watch from outside, it's all you're just admiring. You don't know the kind of work that goes into building that friendship, and I think it's just so beautiful to hear. Now I understand that it's not friendship; it's really sister. Because I can't imagine sitting up. Yeah. It's not movies.
Let's be
Let's just sorry. Let's just go and sleep.
because it will take time. Just apologize and move on. So yeah. That's it.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. So beautiful. So for people like me now, I think for me it's just that I don't know how to be vulnerable with people. I
Mm.
I
just
get
don't
it.
know how to open up to people. So for people like that who are scared of vulnerability, who it's like if I tell this person my business now, I don't know. So
Yeah.
even for people that are mentors, it's hard for me to even open up to mentor. Not talk of people that were like in
Mhm.
the same age range. So what do you advise that I deal with that?
Well, that used to be me. Or I'm still learning, but that used to be me a whole
Mm.
lot. Just hiding off, shying off, not wanting to
Yes,
talk.
yes.
I'm an internal processor. So when something happens, I want to be left alone so that I can process it by myself and then have the right words to say. If you
Yes.
confront me, I will not be able to express the problem accurately. So I need time by myself. But then I've learned that no, we cannot give you time. You have to talk now, right? And then just I've had past trauma with female friendships. So I was
Yes.
coming from it and I was like, if I open up to you now, if tomorrow now you piss me off and I just go my separate way, that means you're carrying you have something of me that you will not
Yeah,
carry for life,
yeah.
and I don't want that. But again, it just boils down to I had to ask myself, this relationship, is it short term or is it long term? Do I want this relationship to break in 5 years or do I want it to last for a lifetime? And I told myself I want it to last for a lifetime. So if I want it to last for a lifetime, what do I need to do?
Mm.
Right? Like she said, will not always be right.
Yeah.
And if I have done something to her and she feels some type of way about it, then I should bring myself to understand why she feels like that. So in the initial stage, it was uncomfortable because I would explain, oh my God, you said this thing to me and I didn't like it. And the initial response would be, what do you mean you did not like it? I mean, see, this is why I know what to talk. This is why I know what to talk in the first place. I would have just kept my mouth shut and I would have moved on. But working with the Holy Spirit and just listening
Yeah.
to him, like just talk, let it out. Now, it's how you talk and when you talk. Those two things are important. So I've learned that if I have decided that this relationship is one that I want to carry with me for life, I can't box myself. I have to express and I have to be vulnerable, no matter how it's not comfortable. And I don't even know if it will ever get to the point where I'm 100, because there are some things that I'm still like, I don't know if I should say it now. I don't want it to be like, but just getting to that part where I value this relationship more than my comfort. So if a moment of me not feeling comfortable, what would I prefer? To have the conversation or to feel uncomfortable or to feel comfortable and then just have the relationship scatter? So weighing it, I prefer having the relationship
Yeah.
than me feeling comfortable. So I think it's just a mindset.
Yes.
I don't think it's hard. I think everybody can be vulnerable. It's just a mindset. Just to tell yourself that choose the person. No, it's not like you now go outside, now go everywhere and say how to be vulnerable. Let me tell you everything. No, no,
Yes.
no. Choose the person, and over time you would see that this person's heart.
Yeah.
I remember we were having a conversation when we went out for our anniversary, and I was telling her that over the years, one thing that I'm sure of, no matter the misunderstanding, no matter the back and forth, I know your heart.
Yeah.
Right. So no matter what the attitude you give to me or you carry face for me, I know say you love me. I know that you're here. Do you understand? I know your heart for me. So no matter what it is, I know that if I open up to you, you are going to listen and you're going to have my best interest at heart. Even if we're fighting today and I
Yeah.
come to you crying that this happened, I know that you would provide a solution for me or just be there for me. So it's just a mindset you have to get out of.
Yeah.
Because if you want that relationship to work, you have to be vulnerable. You can't have a solid relationship without vulnerability.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is up with that? So you guys even have anniversary. God, oh God.
We're just very intentional.
Yeah, it's very and so beautiful.
I
So
think we do the most sometimes. Sometimes people don't understand it, and we've got to the point where we can't explain it. Yes, we do. We do the most. Well, we actually don't do the most because we know people that do more.
really,
We're not even there yet.
yeah.
It's just we live in the part of the world
Where people are limited by their experience.
you know this word intentionality.
Yes. Use it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's if you replace intentionality with selflessness, it
Mm.
will help you understand that when it comes to relationships, it is not about whether it's friendship, whether it's romantic, it's not about you're not trying to get somebody in your life to serve your comfort.
Yeah.
And your interests. You're trying to serve somebody.
Yes.
Right. And so again, it is also a form of service.
Service, yeah.
So how do you question is, how do you serve this relationship in the best way possible?
Yes.
If we are thinking like that, we would have better friendships because maybe if my friend is doing something, I'll be thinking, how can I serve my friend?
Yeah.
How can I be selfless in this situation? Not that means doing
That's on you now.
I don't have to do that would be fine. When me I was doing
My own need come.
Yes.
People are just selfish.
a lot of people are
A lot of human beings are selfish.
take away the intentionality, replace it with selflessness,
Yes.
replace it with service, and then better relationship will come out of that because you are not doing it for what you can gain. You are doing it to add value.
Value.
Understand that not everybody is going to necessarily see
Return.
the value, but you being a person of value will attract the kind
Right
of people
people
that
to you,
need
yeah.
in your life, the people who will value you, the people who would see that. Because people who value people are always looking for people who
Who value them? Yeah.
as well, right? Like if I'm a giver, if I see another giver like me, I'm drawn to them. I understand what it means to give. I understand what it means to give like truthfully, not with expectations. So it's easy for me to connect with somebody like that. Again, that's part of what really connected us. I don't know what I'm saying.
So actually, I think this is my healing. I think I actually love this angle of being selfless because for me, for me, it's even because for me, I think it's even for me easy for me to make friends with the other gender with guys. Than
It's
with,
always easy.
I don't know why.
Yeah, it's always easy with guys.
But this period, I'm very very it's because growing up we had this thing where whether it was socially or culturally or whatever, where we're like, oh, it's very easy to make friends with guys.
Yeah, two women cannot be close.
I think that was women trying to mask the fact that I really want to make friends with a woman, but it's difficult for me
to do it. Yes.
And the truth is, there is strength in female friendships. There's strength in female friendships. We understand exactly what we are going through. Like, I can just give her a look, girl. She gets it. I can give you that same look and you get it. Right? So I've seen women support women. I've seen women, contribute to women. And when a woman supports you, it's on another level.
Yeah.
There are no strings attached. There are no effect. I mean, I'm not generalizing. I'm just saying for most cases, there are no strings attached. You're not thinking whether when this person asks me, what's the matter of time? You know that it is genuine. You know that it is real. Like you can almost feel what they are doing for you. Or like there's a lot of feeling involved in just women friendship. So I'm very pro. Well, I'm looking for female friends.
Apply with you.
We do for friendship. So
I think that's so beautiful. Thank you for saying that, Siki. I think I just got my healing. Thank you. So before we wrap up, I don't know. I've been thinking about it, but I can't think of any. Maybe I've not gone through my Bible very well. But is there any particular people in the Bible that you think model friendship? Because I've been thinking about it really.
Females?
Yes.
Maybe.
Remember when we were talking about it, Mary and Elizabeth?
Yes, that it has to be the two of them. I don't know if they were friends.
Yes.
But they had a good relationship.
Yes. Mary and Elizabeth, because there was something in them that they were connected.
Yes.
Right? Mary heard a word. We were talking about this at the anniversary. Mary heard a word from God, and the angel sent her to
Elizabeth. Yes.
And the moment Elizabeth heard Mary,
the baby, yes.
It was beyond it was beyond the relationship. It was very spiritual. It was a connection that they both needed each other at that time. Like God said, go and meet Elizabeth. Right?
And she stayed there for like 6 months.
Yes, right. There was a lot she had to learn from Elizabeth. And there was just Elizabeth understood. I mean, somebody that is pregnant, in that situation, it's going to be difficult for you to explain it. But she didn't have to explain herself to Elizabeth. Elizabeth understood exactly what Mary was asking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She was the right support for Mary. She was the right person Mary had to be with.
Yes.
That just goes to show God's
Intentionality.
And that they remind me a lot of us, because many times when God is speaking to either of us, or when God is leading us, or when God, like when we hear a word from God, whatever it is, even God, life, everything, I hardly have to explain myself much. I don't have to say, God told me this. Are you sure? Sorry, back me for 1 week.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
It's always a God told you this. Yeah, we're doing it too.
Hmm.
Right? And it's vice versa. God told me this. We're not questioning each other. We are here for each other. I'm not wondering whether or not she's walking the right path. There's no judgment. There's no, we're not looking, there's no else. The thing is, you are here and here, we're doing this. Right. And so that, for me, that relationship really guides a lot of the action on the spiritual and intellect.
Yes, this is so beautiful to hear. But I think that in general, just to wrap this up, that I think shared value and alignment like plays a very crucial, because from what TK was saying, from what TK, I think the fact that you both are Christians and then you hear the Holy Spirit, I think it plays like a very huge role in your friendship.
Yeah.
So I think at the foundation level of friendship, it's shared value,
Very
alignment.
important, yes.
Oh, are we Christians? Oh, do we believe in the same thing together?
Yeah.
And then the other thing, communication, being intentional, and those other things can just come up.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you, TK and Tichi.
Thank you.
I want to go. My time is counting. I'll make another studio hour, but I have to go. I already look at me that way. But thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for your friendship, because I believe so much in sisterhood, but I believe I don't act it. Do you get? I'm pro women too. Hey, I'm pro women. What? I'm female friends, but I think I'm learning though. And thank you so much for sharing your story and your journey with me today. Thank you, TK.
Thank
Yes.
you, Dami.
Yes. Thank you for celebrating.
Honestly, yes. So, because people actually water it down sometimes, that
Yeah.
actually so sister.
Yeah. We get that sometimes. Sometimes we get people that are like,
That's a people
like, I bet
But yeah, thank
Yes,
you.
so
Thank you so much.
we appreciate it. You know, why she crossed 7 seas.
Honestly.
Come back. All right.
Thank you so much, Dami.
I see. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today to watch this episode of the podcast. I hope you've learned one or two things. Even if you're a guy, this I feel like this same thing still applies, either male, female, any kind of relationship really, because what you've shared really applies to every kind of relationship. So thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe to the Gen Z Christian podcast on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, and Spotify app, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, or any other place that you listen to a podcast. And I hope to see you on our next episode. Bye.